All right, cool. I think we are live. Hey, everybody. So what we're looking at today is I've been building out this kind of like JSON API resource thing for Laravel. And today what I want to do is get it working with collections. Resource collections for Laravel. You'll have a user resource and you just call : collection, and then you can kind of pass through an array or a collection of resources or whatever it is. And I want to get this going really with the JSON API spec, just so it's like nice and easy to utilize. So that's really the last kind of big piece of the puzzle with this JSON API resource, I think. So we're going to dive into that and kind of check out how we can get that going. I'll take you for a little tour around the package so far. I've done a little bit of kind of tidying up and changing a little bit, but I think it's still pretty much the same as the last stream, if anyone's seen that. So what we've got is we've got this JSON API resource, and I've extracted everything. I've extracted a few things out to these concerns. So all the stuff to do with attributes, all the stuff to do relationships, and all the stuff to do with resource identification. So that's all there. And I've extracted those out because they're somewhat like implementation stuff. I don't kind of want those, like these are all basically contain like private methods and stuff. And that means that this class for like a developer that's kind of trying to work out how this all comes together, this class now only contains kind of the developer facing API stuff. So 2 attributes, 2 relationships. We've got 2 array here, which is, what the standard JSON API resource exposes and we kind of override. And with. And so that means like the public facing API and then the developer facing API are essentially covered here in these methods. And all the other stuff is kind of tucked away. All the like noise that I'm making to make this happen is tucked away on these traits, just to kind of keep it nice and clean, really. This is the resource identification stuff. Yeah, so I think that's a nice little clean up to kind of move all that stuff out, because I don't think anyone will really be kind of like trying to dig into that and do anything with it. So it's nice to kind of tuck it away and just see the stuff that really matters when you come through to this class. So that's that. We've got the service provider still. The service provider's just registering the resource ID resolver and the type resolver. So again, nothing new there. So I think the first thing we'll probably do is write a test and see if we can kind of get some collection stuff happening. We'll probably just try and see if it works out of the box, but I already know that it won't, just because I know how the JsonResource stuff, all the collection stuff works under the hood, but we'll just do it anyway. So let's write our test. So what do we need to do? We just want to see test it can return a collection. Really is like the big overarching test that we want to do. We'll have to write a bunch of tests around like making sure that if you've got a collection of things, like a nested collection, that you can resolve a nested collection. So if a user has lots of posts and each post has a lot of comments and each comment has an author, like we want to be able to go collections all the way down and then get that singular author at the end as well. And then we also want to make sure that, we can, even though we're going through all those collections, so if a user has many posts, that's a collection of posts. We want to make sure that we can limit the attributes that come through on the posts as well, with JSON API sparse field sets. But I'm just going to stop talking and we'll just get into some code. So we just want to test it can return a collection. So let's get our collection. And we'll do a new collection. We'll do a new eloquent collection. And what's it going to have in it? It's going to have a few models. We'll just do a couple of basic resources in here. So we'll go new basic resource, and we're going to pass through an ID of basic. What was I doing for IDs before? I'll just see what kind of my convention was for IDs. Expected ID. All right, so we'll just do like a, here we'll do expected ID1, and then we'll do same thing here, but we'll increment that one. No, we won't. We'll accidentally delete it. Thank you, Vim. Expected ID of 2. Cool. So we've got our collection of eloquent resources. So let's now create our JSON resource to return that. So what's that going to look like? We're going to get a response. So we're going to need a class that extends our JSON API resource class, basic JSON API resource. We've already got that here, so we can use that. So we're going to actually go JSON resource, and that's our basic JSON API resource, and we'll go collection, and we'll go collection. Cool. So now we've got our JSON API resource, and now we just want to like push this all the way through Laravel so that we can see what Laravel would spit out at the end. So we'll go response is equal to this. We're going to want a test route, so I'll just go back to where have I been defining routes. Okay, so we'll come down. Where am I? So we'll actually just define our test route here. And when we do that, we want to return our basic JSON API resource, really. So I'll actually just put that in line here. We can delete that. We can probably just have it like that. That'll probably work quite well. Yeah. Yep, that should work fine. So then we can go, all right, so our response is equal to this get, and we're gonna get our test route. And we don't need to pass anything through, so that's gonna hit this route. And that route's gonna return the basic JSON API resource with our collection stuff. It's a short closer, so we kind of just get all this stuff passed through for free, which is lovely. And then we want to response assert okay. We're going to also assert what the structure is like of this response, but I just want to see if this even just works. Okay, well, it didn't explode, so that's cool. But what does this look like? Response assert exact JSON. And what are we expecting here? So we're expecting a collection. So it's going to be a collection of objects. So we're going to have a collection of objects here, and each object should have a, oh, my brain has lost it. What is each object going to have? It's going to have a type and an ID. So it's going to have, the first ID is going to be expected ID1, and the type is going to be basic resources. Which is just the convention that we've kind of got set up, which is based on JSON API. And then this one, replace 2, and I want to see if this works. It does not. Okay, so what it's getting is, of course, it's going to be all in a data key. I know how to do stuff. So we'll wrap that up in a data key. Cool. Lovely. Okay, and it's still not working, so let's have a look now at what we've got. So what it's bringing through is data, ID, so that's what we're expecting, but it's actually passing us through, well, it's passing us through everything that we're kind of wanting, which is awesome. So it actually kind of is working already, which is quite nice for just the top level one. So this is going to be attributes, and then we'll just yank that and paste that in, and now it's working. All right, cool. So that actually does work, which is pretty neat. So that's working out of the box. Yeah, which is really cool. And I'm kind of surprised because it actually returns this like anonymous resource collection thing. But what are we missing here? So now we want to see if we can include things. So this is working just for the basic resource. It's translating it all properly as expected. But now what we want to see is if we can say include a nested relationship. So we'll just copy this because it's got a bunch of setup that we already need to do, and then we'll set up a new test. So test it can include relationships for a collection. Okay, so this is our collection, and then what we need to do is we need to add some relationships to these things. So we might actually pull these out and we'll go how will we do this? What's going to be a nice way to actually get these nested? What were we calling them? Was it nested? Yeah, okay, so this is kind of what we've been doing before. So come back here. So what we're doing here, just so everyone's kind of following along with what we're doing, is we're creating a resource, and then we're kind of nesting this nested resource as a relation. I know the naming of this is all a bit special, but that's kind of what we're doing there. And got nested, lovely, and we want to. What does set relationship return on the model? Let's have a look. So function set relationship. Does that return this? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. So I should actually be able to, if I go like this and make this make, and then go set relation nested, and then I can bring this one up just to kind of inline this process a little bit in this test. This might not be everyone's kind of thing, but it's what I'm going to do. I'll also just make this a make call just to kind of keep it consistent. And we'll paste that, paste that in there just so we can inline that in the collection, and then do those ones. We might just do that. Again. Okay, so we want parent ID, but I actually want this to be parent ID 1, so I can tell the difference. And this is going to be, what's this going to be? Like parent ID 2. So we'll go parent ID 2, and we've got, what is happening? Oh, I've lost the home row, that's what. We'll go nested ID 1 and nested ID 2, just so we can kind of tell the difference between those. So now we've got like a similar collection to what we did before, but we're setting these kind of nested values on them, a relationship, which is another object. And then what we're going to do is we're going to return our resource, and in here we're going to say include is nested. Okay. So then, actually, we need to do a new resource for this. So we need to specify a new class. So how are we going to do that? So class basic JSON. What is it? Resource collection. No, JSON resource with included with. Include JSON resource with include extends JSON API resource. Cool, and this is going to go public function relationships, and that's going to return an array. So this is our kind of API. We've seen this a bunch before, and what we do here is we return our nested, and that is going to return a closure. And it will return a basic JSON API resource make with this nested. All right, so that should do that trick, hopefully. So let's see what this is going to look like now. So this is actually JSON API, what was it? Resource, what do I even just call it? JsonResource with include. Glad my naming is consistent. And so what that means is it's going to allow us to include our nested relationship, which is going to resolve this relationship for us on each of our models, hopefully. So that should pass. And then the JSON that we are expecting is we should still get the, it's not going to be expected now though. It's going to be, what is it? Parent. So parent. So that should be the same now, but our relationship will now contain a resource identifier, and that's going to have an ID, and this is going to be nested ID1, and then our type is going to be what is it? Nested resources. Yes, that's our thing. And will they have a data attributes? Let's go see what our relationships look like. Oh yeah, okay, so that's the structure it's going to be. Yeah. All right, cool. I remember. All right, relationships is going to be a nested, and that's going to point to that. And that it is in a data thing. Yeah. Okay, so data. So I'll actually pull that up. Cool. So that's what that should look like, and it should have nested resource 1 in there. And then essentially this should be the same thing here. If I just dump that in there, and instead of 1, it's going to be, whoop. What am I breaking? Oh, it thinks it's -1. That's going to be 2. Okay, parent ID. So that should be good. So that's kind of the relationship mapping on the actual object itself. But then when you include something, you actually get a includes. Includes. I'm pretty sure it's includes. Maybe it's included. Included. Yes, it is. And this is an array of those objects that have been included, and they should be like the full object. So we should have, if I just come in here, it should basically be that dumped in here, but it's not going to be parent, it's going to be nested ID2. So we'll find 2. This is a nested resources, and that's not going to have anything. So we should have 2 of those for each of the relationships that we've got. And that is 2. Cool. So let's see how that goes, and it's not happy. Okay, so let's just have a look at that resource again. So we've got parent ID1, which is a basic resource. It's got a relationship which is nested, and then this is the resource identifier for that resource. Then we've got parent ID2. Here's the nested resource identifier, and then these are the resources that those identifiers point to. So each one of these, like this thing here, is essentially a pointer to this resource here that is being included. And then we need to come up and make sure that we've said that we want nested, so it should include that. So let's see why it's not happy and start to debug that. Okay, so this is, you know what? I wonder if I update, if I get that change that Jess brought in, where it'll actually show me like a, what did I change on here? That's the question. Yeah, sure. So I'm just going to do a composer update. Don't mind me. Sorry for doing this on the stream. But when you get that like JSON blob and it's like the 2 don't match and it's all on the single line, it's impossible to like, well, it's not impossible. It's just painful to work out what the difference is, but Jess Archer PR to change so that it actually does a pretty print. There's the words. Oh dear. It is not happy about something. Stuff is failing. You know what? Composer update. Nope. What? Failed opening. Oh. It looks real unhappy. I'm just going to move the vendor to vendor and composer update, do a fresh install. See how this goes. Obviously wasn't happy about something there. That looks better. So let's go to our test suite. Sorry if you can hear my doggy just rolling around like crazy. Aha, and it does. Check this out. So now it's like pretty printed to show me what it's expecting and what it's not. That's so good. Okay, so what are we expecting? We're expecting relationships. So we didn't get any of this, but we did get relationships as an empty array. And then we didn't get anything here. And we got relationships as an empty array, and we didn't get any of the included stuff. So it's not working, which is kind of what I thought would happen once we've kind of started doing this. And my understanding of why this is happening is when you get a collection on a JSON resource, it actually news up this anonymous resource collection. So you no longer get like the resource that, it's not an instance of the resource that you've created. And then this kind of does some trickery in here to do a whole bunch of stuff like it, and then it extends the resource collection, and then the resource collection extends the JSON resource. So there's like a tree for that kind of collection stuff, and we need to be able to kind of hook into this collection method to do some stuff. Because the reason that we need to hook into it is that we are overriding that with method to like recursively include stuff. So we need to make sure that's still happening, because if we come in here to a resource collection, we've got all this stuff, which is fine. ToArray is doing its thing, which is cool. But essentially there's no with method. So the with method just turns into an empty array, but we need that top level with method to still run. Because, why is that? Because that's where we do all this kind of nested relationship stuff. So yeah, let's look at that and see if we can get that going. I haven't got a great game plan for how we're going to do this, so we're just going to kind of fumble through this together and see if we can get it going. So JSON API resource collection is what we're going to do here. Get a new class going, and I guess, I don't know, extends anonymous resource collection, I guess. Like we're just going to do some new stuff here. And then so anonymous resource. So when you have a JSON API resource and you call collection, what do I want? I want a JSON resource. JSON resource that isn't a stub even. And here's this collection method. So we need to override the collection method on ours to return our own version of the anonymous resource collection. So let's look at what that might look like. Actually, we want to be in the JSON API resource. So we'll come down here. Cool. And basically, instead of an anonymous resource collection, we want to do a JSON API resource collection, and just really copy exactly what this is, just to kind of keep that same functionality is what I'm thinking. So JSON API resource collection is what we're going to return there. Yeah, we'll deal with that. Anonymous function should not have native. Yep, it doesn't. Cool. We can deal with types and stuff later. So let's go back to that test. So this is not going to change anything, but it might blow up in a different way. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. So we'll test this one. Okay, so nothing's changed here. Still all the same stuff. Cool, that's fine. JSON API resource collection. Okay, so public, I'm interested to see if we just go public function with, this is going to have the request, and it's going to return an array, and I just want to return foo bar, and just see if that even just comes through to that test. And look, it does. Yeah, so foo bar is coming through there. So it means that we can interact with our with method, which is cool. Okay, so now we need to work out how do we get all the included resources in here. So what I might do is go JSON API resource, have a look at the with method here, and okay, now I'm just trying to think. JSON API resource collection, it's sorry. So you pass it through the resource, and it moves up a new instance of this resource, and then says that's static. I'm just trying to remember what the resources are when you're in a collection, if it's a collection of JSON API resources, or if it's a collection of Eloquent models, like if you're using Eloquent. And I can never remember. So let's just kind of go through here. And okay, so we want to go to the resource collection. And what is my dog doing? He's banging his head against the wall. You right there, buddy? You right? Yeah, he's all right. Okay, and we collect the resource. And so what does that do? Is an array, it's a new collection. Map into whatever it collects. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's just actually a collection of JSON API resources. Yes, I think that is true. So what we should be able to do, maybe, is what if I just go like this, resource is, what is resource, but what is resource going to be? Because it's going to be an array. Sorry, people. Just trying to remember how this all comes together, because it's a bit of a dive here. So this is what it collects. So this is the class that it collects. So I don't want to look at that. This is the collection. Oh, mapped collection instance. I reckon that's what we're going to want. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. Okay, so this resource, collect resource, map the given collection resource into its individual resources. Okay. This collects, this collection get iterator. And so when does this collection, oh yeah, we set this collection here. Okay, lovely. All right, so I'm going to step back through this, and this is going to be this collection. I want to map each of them to with and pass through the request and go, what is with, yeah. Okay, so we'll just see what that does. That's gonna, I'm hoping what that'll do is go through all the nested resource, all the resources that are on this, call their with method, which will kind of recursively resolve all the includes. But we'll just see, what does that even do? So it's done something here. We've got some stuff in here. So that's something, but it's not what we want at all. But that's good. It means it is kind of reaching out to those, which is kind of cool. So we are getting somewhere. So what I might do here is, again, just to make sure that I know what I'm doing, I'm just going to actually like DD this and just see what the state of affairs is when we hit this. Okay, as we thought, it's a collection, and it's a collection of JsonResource with includes, and then yeah, that's doing exactly what we want. So that's good. And if we were to go to the with method on our, so we'll visit that test, and we've got JsonResource with includes, and then relationships here. Okay, and I'm just going to DD on our includes. And it's not getting anything. So let's come back to the test and just make sure I've got this. Oh, I don't have this set up correctly at all. This should be two relationships. Okay. And it's going to get a request. That's looking better. Lovely. Yeah, okay, we've changed some stuff now. So let's see where we're at. So if we test this one, expected and actual. So, okay, so we do have included, yep, and then included, 0 included. Okay, lovely. So let's go to our JSON API resource. So this is working. I'm sorry, my dog is making a whole lot of sound there. You right there, Tazzy? What are you doing, you madman? Anonymous resource collection. Wait, we want to go to our JSON API resource and go to our, yeah, so we basically want to, I'm just going to copy this over just for the goodness. And this is going to be, is equal to that. Okay. And we want to probably not map, but actually like flat map, I think. So we'll go DD on our includes. And we've got included. And it looks like we only have the... Oi, what are you doing, buddy? Sorry, my dog's making all sorts of sounds. What are you doing, bud? You all right? Hold on 1 second, people. Come on. Come on. I'll be right back. Come on, bud. Okay. Sorry, I think the dog was getting a little Nancy just sitting there. So let's keep on kicking in. So what did we end up with? We got included, but it only has one resource. So I mean, there's something in there, but let's get rid of that and just go to map and just see what it looks like then. So we've got, yes, it's not the right structure, but we've got one thing here. And then we've got another one here. And this is our nested resource too. So they're the two resources that we want to come through, which is great. So we're getting somewhere there. Then I think we want to do that. And then I think we want to, can we like pluck included? And what does that look like? No, it's not happy at all about plucking on the support collection because I can't spell pluck. That's why. Pluck. Okay. So we've got an array with two things in it, which is feeling good to me. And then another one, but I think we need to flatten these out. So I'm going to go flatten. and see what that looks like. And now we have an array with one thing and an array with another. And let's just check these IDs. So we've got nested ID 1, nested ID 2. So cool. So that is pulling through those two things, which is great. And that means as well that it's going to be, yeah, it could be, and so that's going to be our resource here, which is pretty cool. So, and that just works. That's very cool. Is that for real? No. Okay. Couldn't have been that easy. Yeah, all right, cool. That's all right, that's good. Okay, test it can return a collection. Okay, so we've broken another test now by doing what we were just doing. Okay, so it's automatically included. So we need to make sure that it doesn't do that. Oh, okay, I see what the problem is. So the count will always be as many things in here as there are. So we actually need to do a filter on this so that we don't end up with like, if there's 10 resources, there's going to be 10 nulls in there. And so there we go. That's passing now. That's great. So we get our collection. We map over it by calling with, then we pluck, we flatten, we filter, and then we get all the results. That's really cool. And that is just working. I actually thought that was going to be harder. I mean, not that that was easy, but I thought it was going to take longer, I should say. So that's very cool. Okay. So now I guess the next thing is we want to make sure that, now we want to make sure like we need to be able to like go deep and deep and deep. So I want to make sure that I can like get, basically like if a user has posts, that's one collection. And then from those posts, I want to, so because we've started with a collection at the top level and we've included a single resource. And now I guess I want to switch that and have a single resource that can include a collection. So let's have a look at what that might look like. We'll just copy this over because I think it's going to have most of the stuff that we kind of want to get started. So tester can include a collection for a resource. Okay, so what we're really going to want here is we're going to want one top level resource. So this is going to be our resource and it's going to be a new, we'll just, so we'll go basic resource and this is going to be parent ID 1 and that's good. And then on our basic resource, we're going to want some other stuff. So now what we're going to want is resource, and this is going to be a lot of nested resources. Okay, so these are our kind of like nested resources here. So what we're going to do is set relation, and this is going to be nesteds. Yes, I'm going to use nesteds. Please don't judge me, but it's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now what we want to do, instead of returning our collection, we want to just return our basic resource, and we'll go make that with our resource. Lovely. And we're going to go nesteds. I'm sorry, but it's what I'm doing. Oh, actually, we won't be able to do that. So with include, but I'll use this, I'll go nesteds, because we can reuse this perfectly well. Assuming all our other previous tests are still working, this should work quite fine. So now what I'm going to do is, yeah, this can actually just be this nesteds, because it's a collection. I'll go, instead of make, I'm going to go collection, and this is going to be nesteds. And that should work perfectly well. I won't worry about types right now. We'll deal with types at another time. Okay, so tester can include a collection for a resource. So we've got a resource, and then we make a collection of nesteds. Let's even change this to nesteds. Oh, I hit the wrong button. So nesteds. We then set our nesteds relation, and we return that, and we're including it. And so what is this going to look like? This is going to be this, and this is going to be nesteds, and nesteds is going to be an array. And so it's going to be an array here of objects. So that's that. Okay. Great. So now you can see, rather than having like a single object in here, we've got like a collection of things in here. So that's cool. And then these should pretty much, oh, there won't be this, because we're only going to pass through one, because if it works with one, it should work with many. Famous last words. And then it should just still kind of include these. These should still be there. It's just that they're just all coming off the one object this time. So yeah, if this just works, that's going to be wild. And it doesn't. Okay, which is good. Well, it's not good, but you know, I'm not really surprised there. Okay, so what are we missing? So expected data. Oh, okay. I know. Do I know? I do know. Yeah. Okay. So because we've switched it now, because there was a collection at the top level before, now there isn't a collection at the top level. So we need to like unnest that. Oh, I deleted that, but I've obviously not gotten rid of that comma. Okay. Oh, we're close. Okay, so relationships must just be, is it just empty? Okay, yeah, relationships is just empty. And yeah, okay. So relationships doesn't include all of that. Relationships is just empty. And then there isn't any included things either. Okay, so I just want to check this test and make sure I've got it set up properly before I kind of move on. So we've got a single instance, and that single instance has a relation called nesteds. Yes, I'm sorry, but that's what they are. We then return that resource as like a single instance. We've included nesteds. This is where I work out that I've actually like misspelt nesteds or something stupid, which is something I probably should just have never used, but I'm going to keep using it. I mean, that's looking pretty good. And then that should return a collection of this nesteds. So it is looking good. So now I'm wondering, why aren't you working? And let's have a look. So nested. So, okay, so first thing is we want to make sure that this is being called here. Hello. Oh, it's not. Interesting. Two relationships. JSON API. Oh, I know why. Because I changed that in the test, didn't I? So this is the basic, and this should actually be nested. What was it? Oh dear, I don't remember what it was called. JsonResource with includes. Okay, we can do that. So that should fix. Well, it should maybe not fix it, but it should get us a little bit closer. Okay, so now we're getting a type issue, which is good. We've changed that error message, so that's nice. So what was that error message? So concerns, closure, resource must be JSON API resource, but JSON API resource collection was given. Great. So let's go have a look at what we've got that. So that's on relationships on line 25. So relationships on line 25. So that's just this. It's for now to just make it happy. We'll go JSON API resource collection. Oh wait, what do I want to do? Import that class, make sure that's imported. Okay, unable to resolve resource for that. Okay, so, all right, yep. So what we need to do is, if it's a resource collection, we need to get the resource off it. Yeah, okay. If it's a resource collection, we need to get the resources, resource, I'm pretty sure, which is really something. So I just want to see, like, this will break everything else, so that's fine, but I just want to see if this will that then like make that happy? Property resource does not exist on this collection instance. Okay, cool. So what would pass relationships pass includes? So if it's got a JSON API resource collection, then it kind of needs to map over all of them and return an array. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm just slowly working this out in my head, how this has to work. So that's for this, it needs to return an array of those things. Yeah. Okay, so how are we going to do that? We're probably going to turn this into a long function because we're going to have like a conditional in here and stuff. And I think for now I'm going to do that, even though I hate to do it, but we're going to do it anyway. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so all right, yep. Okay, so we've returned that. So what we need to do now is say if resource is instance of JSON API resource, then we're going to return that. So that was our original functionality. So hopefully, and I'll just go return null. Oh, it needs an array, so I'll just return an empty array. And we'll just make sure that, yep, everything's still working except for that last test. So I haven't broken anything there. So that functionality is kind of still in place. But if it isn't a JSON API resource, it means it's a JSON API resource collection, in which case what we need to do is we need to return resource collection. Now, is collection something I can reach into? Let's go to the definition. It's public, cool. So I'm going to go resource collection, map each of these, and we're going to map them to, this is going to be a JSON API resource, resource, and that's resource, and we can probably refactor this a little bit, but just going to kind of roll with it for now. And like, that's what we're going to return, right? We're just going to return what we're already returning here. So it's going to be that, I believe. Yeah. And then we'll just go all. Do I need this? Maybe I just do this. Maybe that's exactly what I need. Okay, still not happy, which is totally cool. Okay, so where's this blowing up? On line 57. So, okay, so we've moved the error message now, which is kind of cool. But I am keen to just see kind of what is this actually returning? Yeah, it's returning exactly what we want. So that's really cool. Nested resource 1, nested resource 2. Love it. That's wicked. So where did we move the error message to? We removed the error message to line 57. Cool. And that's because if we're resolving nested includes, So if this is JSON API resource or a JSON API resource collection, and we are using a big one here, so we'll, I'm assuming this needs some more love, but we'll just see. Does not exist. Yep, that is fair. So we'll go if, and again, we'll refactor some of this stuff. Is instance of JSON API resource. We'll try and get rid of any of these kind of instance of things and use some object-oriented goodness instead. Okay, so that means that and I'll just return an empty array here. We'll just, cool, everything's still passing except for our failing test, so that means that's good. And then what we want to do is, so this is our includes. So I think we want to do something like this, but it's resource collection, and then we want to map it to, we want to go each of these, we want to say with include prefix, and then we want to map them all to that, and that's still not going to be happy with include prefix collection each with include, because wait, no, with include prefix, does that not, why are you not happy? Call to undefined method basic JSON API resource with include prefix, and I'm wondering if that's because we're too many types away, and maybe that actually has to be public, so because it's currently private. So with, we could try protected. Yep, cool. That's changed the error message. So that one's going to have to be public, which is fine because we probably want the developer to be able to interact with that anyway. So we might actually bring this out of the relationships trait. So yeah, it's probably going to be worthwhile bringing this out, but that's fine. I'll leave that for now because that can be like a refactor afterwards. Because as I mentioned, I want all that kind of public facing API to be on the main resource, so you don't kind of need to deep dive into these. Okay, so what have we done now? We've changed the error message to resolve nested includes is not working. So why is that? And that's probably, again, because it's private. I'm just gonna triple check, like, is it not happy? Yeah, no, it's too far away. So we'll go public. Okay, cool. Must be an array, but we got in a collection returned. So where is that? Relationships on line 62. So let's go have a look there. Lovely. Yep, so that's good. So I actually want to just see like what's in this now. Like where did we kind of get to? Okay, it's 2 empty arrays, which is probably not what we want. But that's all right. We'll work that out. So I guess we kind of want to, we'll just go all for now. I know we're going to have to like flatten that out. But we'll just see what our test now looks like. How far did we get? Okay, so everything up until included works. So that's really sick. So that means that this is working. Like the related IDs are actually coming through there, which is really nice. So that this bit here is working. It's just these includes aren't working. So they're not kind of filtering through yet. So I balked something there. And I'm assuming that's like here, that's where this is kind of balking. So what I'm just going to do is just go, okay, so after we do that, what does it look like? So we've got a collection of basic JSON API resources, and those are a collection. Yeah, okay. And then it's got a resource which is a nested resource, so that's good. I just want to, we've got our nested resource ID 1, and we'll have nested resource ID 2 down here as well. Yep. And then what we need to make sure is that the include prefix has been set properly. And the include prefix has been set properly. So that's awesome. So then if I map over these and resolve nested includes, which is of course going to loop again, what does that look like then? And it's just, so it's just dead there. Okay, so why is that? So we're passing our includes there, so that is working. If it's, we're returning that, and then we go over each of those, we map what we've got to the resolved nested includes, which is going to kind of call this one again. So I wonder, is there nested, oh, this is the recursion thing that's going to bloody drive me wild, isn't it? So maybe I just dump the includes. Just see, what did we get? Okay, so the first time we didn't get anything, the second time we didn't get anything, the next time we did get something. So I'm just wondering if we need to flatten here. It's not getting any of this. Oh, it is getting stuff. Yeah, okay. Wait, was that just because I changed that? Oh no, it was already getting stuff. Okay, okay, so what have I done here? Okay, so what we're expecting is includes is an array, so that's correct. And then we're going to have object is going to have attributes, ID, relationship, type. Another one with attributes, ID, relationship, and type. But what we got was an array. Okay, yep, so I think we do need to flatten here. Is still, okay, so where do we need to flatten this? And where did we use flatten before? So we pluck it out with flatten, and then we probably want to filter as well. You know what, I won't worry about the filter. So what's it getting? It's getting an array of objects, but we're already in the array of included things. So we do need to, it's an array of arrays. So I'm just wondering, what if we flat map here? What does that look like? Still not happy. And that is because, I mean, I feel like I'm going around in circles here. So let's see what. Resolve nested includes does not exist. Are you sure? Oh, yeah, it doesn't. Okay, I'm thinking I might want to, I'm going to break this down a little bit and do some of that refactoring, because it's hurting my brain a little bit. So let's actually just refactor this a little bit. So I don't want to have to call like something different. So what I would love to be able to do is call with include prefix, and it's going to do something similar like this on the JSON API resource. So let's have a look at that and what that might look like. So what we'll do is we'll go public function with include prefix, and if we look at the API for this, it's just a string, I'm pretty sure that it gets. Yep, it's a string. So we'll go string prefix, and that's going to return self. Okay. And so when you set an include prefix on a collection, resource is going to, this is going to be this collection, and each of these we call with include prefix, and we go prefix. And then we want to return this. So this is nice because then we don't have to like do that juggling elsewhere. Like the collection just kind of takes care of itself, which is good. So we can come back here and we can just say with include prefix, nested include prefix for this is good. Yep, and then we want to call resolve nested include. So we also want that to have its own thing, but let's just see what that looks like. Resolve nested includes does not exist. Not going to bring this back for seconds because so is it merge flatten? Is it here where we need to do the flattening? Okay. This recursion is going to kill me again. Hey. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm stuck on recursion again though. Save me. We're so close. All right. So, yes, Adrian, thank you. So we'll map this. I feel like it would be here. Collapse. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely wrong there. Included. All right. Then we'll collapse here. Oh, I did change something. Something's happening. Yeah, okay. So what? What's it not happy about now? Now is it not getting anything now? Is that what it's saying? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're telling me? Okay, that's all right. We're pretty damn close on this. So that's feeling pretty good, really. I love how most of it just kind of worked. And so now, yeah, so we've got an array. And it's got a bunch of objects on it. Yeah, all right. I need to go read the Laravel docs, apparently. I say that like I don't do it every single day to like work out how to actually do anything. Collections. And we want to go to available methods and collapse a collection of arrays into a single flat collection. Yeah, right. And then available, we want flatten. So the flatten method flattens a multi-dimensional collection into a single dimension. That sounds fancy. Yeah, okay. You're totally right. We don't need flatten. We definitely need collapse. Collapse. Because that's exactly what we want. Great, okay, so let's okay, so now it's just getting an empty array of things, which is kind of weird. With collection, map that to the resolve nested includes, which is good. Why you no work? Collapse. So what did this do? Okay, so we've got our stuff in there again, which is good. So is collapse having any impact? Let's work that out, because it feels like the right thing. So it's getting an array, got a bunch of stuff here. Okay. So, and then if I delete this, what impact is, yeah, it doesn't, weirdly doesn't seem like it's having any impact there, which is like super weird. But what happens if I collapse after all this? Yeah, if I collapse after all that, it just doesn't even have it, which is like even weirder for my brain. Pass includes. Is that because this is like a weird nested thing or something? Collection, nesteds. Yeah, that's right, and that's a collection. Seeing what's coming through. So what did it resolve? It's resolved our collection, and our collection has keys, which is correct. So we want that, and then there shouldn't be any other keys in here. Good, that's good. And then there's two items in here. In this nested resource collection, it collects that, and the collection has two items in it. Yeah, so that's all looking fine and exactly like what we want. So we're going to get our resource collection, get each of those and do that. Oh, wait. Each of those and do that. The collection. Yeah, so that'll mean we'll still have the collection. I was going to say, did we like go back up to the top thing or something? But I don't think that we did. So that's a little bit easier to read. So we've got the collection, we go over each of them and get the includes, then we map over these and resolve the nesting includes and get all of them. And then if we DD out here, actually we'll dump here because of the recursion. Okay, first one's empty, that one's empty, that's good. And then those are completely empty. That's very strange. Resolve nested includes. Oh, super weird. this is the thing is I'll bloody sit here for 2 hours trying to get this right, and then I'll get off the stream and I'll solve it straight away, which is what happened last time. So I just need to chill and think about what the hell is happening. Okay, what is happening here? So we're getting 2 empty resources. Oh, wait. Expected and actual, so we're expecting this. But we are getting an array. We are getting the attributes that we want, and then we're getting 2 empty arrays. Okay, that's cool. So I think what we have to do here is filter. And that should get rid of those last 2, which it did. So it got rid of those empty arrays at the end. And then if we collapse, it's like never getting, is it when I call filter that it gets rid of resolve nested includes. That's super interesting. Maybe I just dump. Does dump return whatever you put into it? That would be kind of nice. It does. Love that. That's handy. I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay. Oh, okay. Does this proxy through? Does this do like Laravel magic proxy stuff? Countable, collects resources. Okay, it doesn't look like it does. Okay. What are we going to do here? Collection each with included resource, map over all of those. Okay, got this. So we're pretty darn close. 1 and 2 are there, which is nice. So I wonder if okay. So when we turn this to a flat map, what does that look like? And why aren't you flattening out? So it's still doing its thing. It's just not flattening it out. So it's an array here. Okay. So if I have the collection, okay, yeah. So it is the JSON API resource, which is what we want it to be. And then we're going to map over those and get the resolved nested includes. And then we'll go DB here. So close. I feel like I'm just kind of like trying to brute force it now because I got no flipping idea what's going on. All right. How did this work before? So last time we had to do something, we just could map over all the stuff. So it is possible for JSON. So let's go to the collection. You know what? Yeah, this just has to handle that, I think. So, because this is getting included. So collection map over with request. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's try from here, so I don't have to bloody be in a recursive method, because it always blows my head up. So this is a resource collection. And that's not being called. No. So if I go to JSON API resource and go includes, got an array, which is the JSON API. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's super interesting. So still the JSON API resource collection, which I don't think it should be. So I've blocked something over here. So each of these, so we get the collection, we map over each of these. I wonder how it is returning that. So resource collection, so then you've got the Illuminate collection, you map over each of these with includes, and then go DD, it's an array. But if we delete that, what does that return? It's expecting to return an array, but it gets an Illuminate support collection. Okay, so that's correct. That's doing what I think it's doing. JSON API resource. Okay, so I'm going to come to the JSON API resource collection and just get rid of this, because we're doing all that still in that other one. So this is over here, and all this is doing is calling resolve nested includes, and then we're passing the includes. So let's just check that the includes here are as we expect them to be, which I believe they are. I might even dump this out. Okay, so we're just going to step through this bit by bit. Dump it out. Here's the includes, nesteds, collection of two things, which is perfect. So that's good. Interesting that it's got it twice. Oh, because that's where we're dumping out here. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's correct. And then for all of those includes, we flat map over them. And that could be any of those things that it's got in it. And if it's that, then we want to do it on the individual resource. Otherwise, we want to do it on a collection of resources. Do I? Yeah, each of those I'm calling resolve nested includes. Okay, so then we're going to dump our nested, and we should have empty array, and then it's got 2 empty arrays there. And so if we dump our includes, yeah. Yep. Okay. So that's because our includes is a collection of these things. And we almost like pass includes. Sorry, just thinking out loud, thinking internally, not out loud at all. Okay, so the first thing is our includes and then our nested. So we've got includes and our nested. So I think this is our nested thing, and I think the problem here is that I think again we'll tidy this up, but includes we need that to kind of be we need that to be the resource, I'm pretty sure. Like we're kind of, but we're merging it in, and then we're just getting the values of those things. So we've got nested, so we need it to really be this collection of items if it's, so includes is, so pass the includes, and yes, okay, so if the includes are a collection, then we're probably gonna have to do something. So again, we'll just whack it in here because we'll fix it up. So actually we could probably just go pass includes, map these, potentially flat map actually, and that's gonna be the include, and then if so then we'll just see what is the include here. Okay, and it's a JSON API resource. So what we need to do is say if include is an instance of JSON API resource collection, then what are we going to do? Then we're going to return include collection, because it's those things. Otherwise, we return the include. Ah, and it passes. Yes! Yes! Ah, okay. Didn't defeat me this time. Did not defeat me this time. Okay. Oh, but I've broken other stuff. But that's cool. That's cool. All right. So, what have we broken now? A whole bunch of stuff. However, I'm just going to bask in the fact that I won that one. And we'll just run it again. Yes, still passes. Okay, so now we've got to fix up the stuff that we've broken. Okay, so we'll run that. So run our test files. What's our first thing? Test includes when their key is the same. and that is no longer working. Okay, so let's come back here. Okay, so because the includes are, do we not want to flat map them? Maybe we don't need to flat map them. Maybe we just map. And then that means that still works. So, but we've still got an error here. Okay, well, there's only one testing pass here, so it can include a collection for a resource. Okay, well, that's not the one we want to be failing, because that was the one that we just made pass. But that's all right. What do we got here? Must be type JSON API resource, but an Illuminate collection was given. So if we come back to, I think my computer's being super slow, I think, because of all this streaming stuff. So this won't actually be a JSON API resource collection. This will be a collection instead, and then it'll kind of be like, so this will error out now, because I think it'll just be that. Oh no, we're back in it. We're back in it, and why is that? Includes nesteds is an array of items. So we do need the key. Okay, so we didn't solve that problem. Celebrated too early. Celebrated much too early. Okay, okay. Map it to that. So that means we're still getting that nesting happening. I think that's because this is essentially just set up to handle. So what is this gonna get? Okay, so we've got a basic JSON API resource, and it doesn't have any include prefix. So then we map over them all, and we get our nesteds, which is good, and then we map over this. Yep, and that is fine. So it's really these here, but we need the key to be able to kind of pass everything through. And so resolve nested includes, so it's got the key there. And then I guess here what we need to do, so maybe this isn't here, maybe this is actually something more along the lines down here, where we're going includes Function resource. Wait, this is include. And we'll return that. Probably just because I messed up something along the lines. I don't know, maybe I'll just change it to map, but I don't think this is like having any impact yet because we haven't got nested stuff yet. So I think it's just this top level one, I think. Does merge need keys to be sequential? But I think the keys should still be sequential because I don't think I'm messing with them. But I could be very wrong. Could be very wrong. So include instance of this, then we're going to return that collection. Otherwise, we return the include. And so what do you look like here? Let's just do that. Well, that's not even working. And why is that? Because that's collection, and that should actually be JSON API resource collection, and then that's going to be collection. Oh, right, yeah, because of recursion. So the first two will always be empty, and then we've got nesteds. And nesteds is an array of 2 items. Okay. I'm just thinking because the keys are still in place here. Includes, yeah, so the includes should have that. Then we merge that in and get the values after that. And so if we merge in, we get the values, and then we flatten. It's working! It's working, Adrian. It's working. Okay, so now, how many flattens? I need to find everywhere I've used the word flat here to try and like hammer this thing. Or what else? What were we trying? We're trying merge, and we're trying flat, and we're trying collapse. So just try and do a little bit of cleanup here. So it's not that. Flat is being done. Flat map there, that's cool, because if we change this, we will break other tests. Yep. So that's good. So we do need to do a flat map there. I'm actually pretty sure, because I don't think we're like doing nestedness yet. So let's try, yep. So we need to do nested nesting. So that's sick. Oh my gosh. Yes, feels good. It's just the recursion. The recursion kills me. Can never work out like where you're supposed to do the thing. Always confuses my brain. So in this case, this could be I'm pretty sure that can be a JSON API resource, or a JSON API API resource collection. So yeah, that's looking happy now. I kind of feel like I want to keep this kind of order of things, so I actually might change this up a little bit and go JSON API resource. Make sure our tests still pass. Sick. So we're doing a merge. Okay, so will that also work? No, that doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what the difference is, but hey, it's working, so I'm happy. Okay, cool. So now we can do some. Now we get to do some refactoring. All right, so we've got our test passing. So what did we end up messing with to kind of get all this happening? So let's look at our collection. We didn't do anything here, so that stays the same. And I think that's fine anyway. We've got our resource collection. We didn't have to change anything here. We did add this thing, and then we've got our collection. So we've already been here. What am I doing? So then I think it was just in attributes that we were doing stuff. Whoop. Yep, cool. So we've got our pass attributes. We've got our requested fields. Wait, it wouldn't have been attributes, it'd be relationships. What am I talking about? I think that's probably good having it like broken up a little bit, because it's already not like super readable to kind of see what's going on here. So I think having it like that is pretty good. So we'll leave that as like a big function. Coming down here, I don't know that this needs to be a big function, so we can see what this looks like as a short closure, just for the hell of it. So we'll go like that, and then this is, we'll do a ternary here. So if include is an instance of that. I mean, I hate that. I'm just going to take it back to where it was. Yep, cool. That's great. All right, so that's good. So let's see what infection thinks and see if we need to do any improvements to our tests or if we missed anything. It is not happy. I've missed some stuff. Oh, that can be made. You weren't happy about me making it protected before, but whatever. That's fine. I can do that. So protected. Ah, okay. So yeah, it is actually happy for that to be. Let's see how that goes now. Still not happy. Really? Okay. I know this isn't the most fun bit, but always like having infection kind of tell me how rock solid this stuff is. Okay. I'm just going to go straight to private. See if the tests work. Okay, the tests work. Yep, cool. Infection should be happy then. I don't know what's uncovered, but that's all right. All right, looks happy. Looks happy. Awesome. Sick. So we've still got to do this, which means we need like, a nested collection that has a nested collection. So, so infection is cool. So infection is a mutation testing tool. And yeah, it runs mutations on your code. So what it'll do, like if you do something like, if now is today, is I don't know. I don't even have like a good example, but it'll basically like change the code under the hood as you're like running your tests. And the idea is that if it can change something in your code and your tests still pass, your tests like don't cover things. So if you do something like if var is equal to test, what it'll do, it'll come in here and like as your tests are running, it'll like change that to null. And if none of your tests fail, you haven't got a test for that like case. It's really sick. Mutation testing is very cool. It's not like I've never run it on like a full like Laravel feature test suite, but for unit tests, it's really good because it'll come in here and do all sorts of stuff to your code and like tell you where you're missing tests. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Okay, so now we need a collection that then has nested collections. For example, a user that has many posts, and each of those posts has multiple comments. So we need like a collection of collections that are nested. So let's come to our tests. Tests. Okay, test it can include a collection for a resource. And now we need to test it can include a collection for a collection of a resource. So let's look at what that might look like. So this is going to have nesteds, and then what we're going to do is each of these nesteds is going to have nesteds as well. So just trying to think the best way to do this. Okay, so these are the top level nesteds, and then we're going to have some others here. So this is going to be 3 and 4. And what we're going to go do is, I don't think we need to capture them, but we're going to go nesteds. Each set relation, can't spell, relation, nesteds, and I mean, yeah, that should be right. All right, so now what we've got is a top level resource. That, I kind of want to move this in here now, actually. So let's like delete that. I think that kind of shows us what we're doing a little bit better. So, but then we need set relation returns this, doesn't it? So we do need that nesteds actually. Okay, coming back. Ignore me. Okay, JsonResource with include. Excuse me. And then what this is going to be nesteds, but we want to be able to get nesteds. So I'm going to actually go JsonResource with includes. Now all the existing stuff should pass. It can include a collection for a resource. Call to member function first on null. Okay, I'm actually going to undo that with includes. I'm going to rename these after once I've had a chance to think about it, but I'm just going to be includes just so that I can actually just kind of get this going. So that's going to return JsonResource with include. Cool, so that's failing, which is good. And then how is this supposed to look? So we're gonna have, this thing should have these, but then this here should have relationships as well. So what this should have is, what is this relationship called? So this relationship, we're not in, this should be nesteds. So that's what it was up here, right? Nesteds. Oh, right, because yeah. So we need just one of these to actually have. So nested ID 1, we actually want to have a collection on. So, we can actually do it on both of them. That'll be fine. No, actually, I actually just want it to be on the first one, just to kind of have some variation in the test. So we'll get the first thing of these nested. So number 1 should have 3 and 4 attached. Yeah, cool. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So we've got nested 1 there. So then we come down to nested 1. It should have nesteds, and it should have 3 and 4. 3 and 4. And then 2 should be included, and then under here we should have 3. So yep, we're going to have 3, and we're going to have 4. So that's what our shape should look like. And it doesn't first on null, so actually, let's run this again. And where do we have our code? So that's Laravel JsonResource on line 84. So JsonResource on line 84. Okay, so, and what was the error? Call to member first on null. So that is in collects resource. And why is that? Oh, okay, yeah. So what I need to do is actually say, this is actually this nesteds, and it's that. Otherwise, it's null. Cool. right? So even more to the point is I actually want two relationships. I don't want to load this unless there's something in nesteds. So nesteds should and then actually I'm going to change this to 0, and then nesteds 1 set relation of nesteds should actually just be an empty array there, because it'll have loaded that. Actually, it'd be just to keep consistency, it'd be a new collection. Lovely. Okay, and what are we missing here? So it doesn't have, so nested ID 2, it doesn't have an empty, no, we're expecting an empty relationship. So nested okay, what have we got? So what we got was relationships, and it had nesteds in it, and that was empty. And is that what we would want? If we've included it, yeah, that does make sense, I think. 100%. Should just be empty. Okay, so then the problem is that nested 1 and 4 are not coming through, which makes sense, because if we come over to our JSON API resource, actually, if we come over to our relationships, we are just returning an array here. So that's that whole thing. So I think this is where we need to do this, which I thought was our problem before. So what we've got is a collection, and then for each of these, we want to do a with, and then we want to map over these. Oh, that's not how you do code. Oh, that's also not what I wanted. So we'll delete this, and we'll go map over all of those. Okay, so it's still bought. Call the undefined method with include basic JSON API resource with include prefix. That's right. This is the method that was actually making us make that public. So if I come to this and go protected, I think it's gonna still not be happy. Yeah, okay, so public, and I reckon we can probably actually refactor this again to fix this up. Resolve, and so we'll make this public. Cool, and then we've got must return a collection, an array, but a collection was returned. So we'll come back here, and then we just hopefully can just go all. We might need to flatten this as well, actually, now that I think about it. So what did it get? It got relationships, which was empty. And then we're supposed to have some stuff in there. What we might do is dump here. Oh, we just want to run that one test, really. So this last test, we'll just run that. So the include prefix is nothing there, which is correct. And then we loop over them all and give them an include prefix, nesteds, which is good. And then we map over all of those. And why did they not get included? Oh, I know, because I didn't update my test to include them. So we need to get the nesteds. And now that's passing. That is sick. It's all working. That's fantastic. That is really great. Okay. So we need to do some more stuff around making sure that, like, if you include a nested, like a collection, that their attributes and stuff are included. But before I do that, I think I'm actually going to just switch gears and see what it looks like to, like, not have all the responsibility on this one class, but give some of the collection itself some responsibility of things. And that way we can maybe, like, I don't know, doesn't need to be an interface or anything, but not have to, like, check for instance of stuff, because that's always a bit weird. Okay, so we're doing an instance of here to get the so that's to get the collection, and that's to get the resource. So it's a collection of API resources. I mean, that one probably isn't too bad, but I wouldn't mind being able to ditch. I'd be interested to see if I can kind of tidy this up a little bit. So yeah, so let's see what that looks like. So if we go to a resource collection and actually give this, like, a first party, like public function with include prefix, and that's going to have a string, which will be the prefix, and we can probably, like, there's probably like a trait we can, oh no, we don't want a trait, and we'll be like this, each of these, loop over them, yep, and then return this. Cool. And so hopefully we can come back here and just say resource with include prefix, and then go collection, and that should, oh, it does not work, undefined variable key. Yes, of course, that would be just the prefix here. This collection. Oh, it's not going to return a string. What am I doing? It's going to return self. Lovely. So that's cool. And then resolve nested includes. It'd be nice to have a method on this, which is doing the same thing. So we go this collection. Map to resolve nested includes. Right, so it just needs to bring that in. And we'll call all. And now, what I'm kind of wondering is, what if we just got rid of all of this? Oh yeah, love it. That's sick. Cool. So now these things kind of resolve their stuff themselves, which is nice. We need to set some iterables on this, which is fine. I guess it's supposed to return that. Yep. Pretty sure that's what it's, so I guess it's, yeah, resolve nested includes. I'm not actually convinced that is what we're returning here. Okay, so that's lovely. So now we'll do instance of, excuse me. Okay, so what we want to do is, this is past relationships, and really this is like to resource identifier. So past relationships. So this is, I'm wondering if there's like a method on here. Okay, let's see what this might look like. So if we go like private function to relationship identifier to resource identifier, because this is, that's the resource identifier. And this could be the relationship identifier, which kind of feels like it makes sense. And so what does this return? This returns an array. And that's that. So that's that there. Return. Okay, so then to relationship identifier, so that's what this returns. This to relationship identifier, and I've broken all the things. Resource, of course, is a resource. Yep, cool, so that's working. So then I want to do the same thing on our collection, resource collection, and go public function to resource identifier, and it's going to get a resource. And resource collection, okay, this doesn't reference our self at all, so we're actually going to go static on this one. And then this, wait, that makes no sense. So that, yeah, what we actually want to do is go resource to relationship identifier. Yes, that's 100% what we want to do. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. And then what we want to do is go this resource. everything's still working. And then when we come over here, resource is actually this. And we delete in here. And then we come, yep, wait. And then can we actually just call, yeah, we can. So here we can even change this and just go resource to resource identifier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll work. That'll be nice. Okay, cool. So then I'm hoping I can actually just get rid of all of this juggling. To relationship identifier does not exist. What's it not happy about here? Oh, did I not specify that on the resource collection? To relationship identifier. Okay, call to undefined method to resource identifier. To resource, which would be issued to relationship identifier. Oh. Call the undefined method to relationship identifier, and that is because it's private. On this one, so make that public. Yes, great, that's cool. Like that, just making everything a bit more declarative, not having to do ifs and check things, and just be like, do the thing, and it just does it. So that's really nice. So I also feel like this resource identification, I'm actually going to move this over to that, I think. No, I'm not. I don't actually disregard. No, I'm not. Okay, so instance of, so we do have one more instance of here, which is to be, which is this one here. This one feels a little bit different to me because it'll be kind of, I think it'll be kind of weird to be like, give me the thing that you should be included. So the thing that should be included, to include, we could have a to include. So if this was like public, just be private function to include, and basically it just returns this. And so this would be return this to include, and that's the thing it should include. But on a JSON resource, when it includes something, we'd go public function to include, and that would return this collection. What is the resource? Like, yeah, actually, hold on. Like, what's the resource on a JSON API collection? Yep, construct. The resource collects the resource, return if it's, otherwise it returns this collection. Okay. So I think we don't even need this. I think I can just come here, and actually just say return this resource. Does not like that at all. But now I want to make sure that it still does like this. No, I've broken something. What did I break? To include. Where, I mean, return this. I mean, I've lost something here, but I'm not exactly sure what. Okay, so what is happening? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. So that's working. So it'd be include resource. But that isn't working. Include collection. Okay. What have I broken apart from everything? Yeah, right. So we want to, excuse me, we want it to return either itself. So yeah, I think I like actually like this one. So I'm gonna leave this here because this feels like a different thing. We might just mix it up a little bit and use a ternary instead, just to kind of make it a bit more succinct. I don't always love ternaries, but I think in this case it's good. I'm not really sure what you would even call a method to like handle this is. So that's feeling pretty dang good. All right, let's see what infection has to say about things. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing what test coverage is first. PHP unit. Coverage. Oh, let me bring this over here. What is our test coverage? I mean, that's looking pretty good. I guess it doesn't cover contracts. Is that just 100% for everything? 100%? Yes? Cool. Love it. So yeah, what does infection think of things? I see that Mohammed has just started a live stream of building a Laravel application from scratch. So everyone should go watch that instead. But that's looking pretty good. Cool. So now it's more just around like, we've got some public functions on here. And how do we feel about that? I mean, I don't really love it. But I'm not sure how to, without implementing a whole bunch of new classes, I'm not sure how to kind of make those more private. I could, of course, extract this out to something so that it's kind of called resolve nested includes. Yeah, maybe that's the go. Just because, again, like it just doesn't feel like something that should kind of be exposed publicly. So I'm almost thinking there is a class that basically just handles this, because I mean, like this does call pass includes, and pass includes would then have to be made public. So this is public because I'm just wondering whether or not I should try and actually like extract this out to something. But I think probably the best thing to do is actually to write some more tests, and we can do some refactors after. So let's do that. Let's write some more tests. Okay, so let's jump in there and see what that looks like. So we'll go to our tests. Okay, so we'll do public function test. It can use sparse field sets with nested collections. Okay. So what we want to do is do a new class that gets the resource, that extends this one, and then we'll go public function to attributes. Okay, so we've got our collection here that is going to return, going to return our attributes. And so what I want to do is say include attributes, include nested, and fields nested resources. And I want to say name, and that should mean that location should be excluded from that. So I'm thinking actually what we might do is go name is equal to Tim, and then I'm going to go in here and go name is equal to Jazz. Oh. And so we should be able to say this name, make sure that it is dynamic like we think it's going to be. And then Melbourne should just be excluded from those things. So we've got parent ID, that should be fine. Nested 1 and 2, and then nested 1 and 2 should have a name of Tim. And then this should have a name of Jazz. Name. Oh, does this have like guarded on it or something? No, it does not, so that's good. Name is null. Okay, so why is name being null? What have I missed here? Nested resource. Guarded, did I misspell guarded? Oh, yes, of course. Silly me. Of course, that makes sense. Okay, so what we want to do in here is go, all right, public function to attributes and go request. That's going to return an array, and then we'll return, and we're going to wrap these. So we'll have name, and we're going to wrap these in a closure and be like this name. And then we'll go location is a function and go, can't do it, Melbourne. Great, and then I don't think we even need this stuff. I think we can go like this, go to the end of these, make, not mail, make resource, and okay, we've got a few failures here. Oh, okay, yep, they're just being included by default because come back up here and we're going to go JsonResource. This is actually a new class that extends the JsonResource JSON API resource, and that's going to get the resource passed in, and then we're going to go do these ones. Public function to relationships is going to get a request. That's going to return an array, and then we're going to return. What are we going to return here? Well, first of all, I would really like some formatting happening. So let's get that sorted. Nesteds is equal to a JSON resource with include. So that is a JSON resource with include. This is a JSON resource with include. Nope, it's not. Ignore me. I'm tripping on myself here. I just need to copy this in to where we are. I have got to set up my auto formatter. So this is just a JSON. So this is just a new class that gets this nesteds that extends the JSON API resource. And we're going to go public function to attributes. We'll get our request. And we're going to return this name, and location is Melbourne. Great. Wait. Oh, because it's got to be, yeah. It's got to be a collection of it. So, how would you do that? You would new class, because I have to call it statically. I have to call something statically on it. So. Okay. When you call, okay, so what happens when you call, so if we go to JSON API resource and go to collection, then it just returns a new one of those. So I could probably actually test that by doing something like new class extends JSON API resource collection, and it's going to expect that, and then it's going to expect the thing that it's collecting, which can just be like a JSON API resource. A basic JSON API resource. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go class JSON resource with attributes, extends JSON API resource, public function to attributes, Okay, so that will actually be, delete that, and basic will be JSON API resource with attributes. Resource with attributes. Attributes. What did I call it? JSON. Okay. I need to get some naming set up here. And that needs to be class. And it passes. So that just works out of the gate, which is very cool. That's sick. So I didn't even have to write any code and it just works. I'm very happy with that. That's really cool. So then sparse field sets work with collections. You know what? That is very cool. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it for the night. That I'm very, very happy with. I don't know what these uncovered ones are, considering it's all covered. Oh, maybe the contracts. Okay, cool. Everything's happy. Great. Well, this was wicked. Thanks for coming and chilling, everybody. I might kick it for the night. I hope you have a good one. Have a good weekend. And yeah, jump over onto Mohammed Saeed's stream. I might go and check that out myself. All right. Peace out.